So I wanted to do a quick gear overview. Since 2017 has started, I've made a lot of changes to my gear from the last time I made a video like this, and so I wanted to kind of just give you a quick rundown of all of the things that have changed, and then just kind of give you a sense of how I organize my bag. One quick side note is that if you do decide to purchase any of this stuff, I have pretty much everything in my Amazon affiliate links down below in the description, and if you decide to purchase and if you go through those links, I'll get a little bit of kickback from that, which really helps to support the channel and the future of what is NERC FPV and all of that stuff. So if you decide that you're interested in moving forward, definitely check out anything out of the description below. Okay, first of all, I want to show you, this is my vlogging camera. This is a Sony a6500, and I have an 18 to 55 millimeter lens with autofocus, built-in optical stabilization here and here. On top is a Rode Video Mic Go. Does not require an external battery, and that's really the primary reason I wanted it. And then this is, yeah, it's a pretty awesome camera, super dynamic, shoots in 4K or at 120 frames per second at 1080p, which makes for some really awesome looking slow motion. That whole rig is all on a Dolica Proline. It's about a $50 tripod, but it folds up real small and extends really, really big. And I use this as my ground station tripod as well. So the combination of those two do great. I don't use one of those bendy tripod things that vloggers use. They just, I don't know, they just don't really work for me very well. Instead, I use a full tripod or just hold it by the lens in my hand, and that does a pretty good job. So that whole sequence was filmed on my Galaxy S8, S8 Plus actually. This is an amazing phone, and I use the camera on the S8 Plus because it will also shoot at 240 frames per second indefinitely, which is basically 9 times slow motion if you bring it down to 24 frames per second, and that is freaking cool. So you can do some really cool stuff with it. And then I'll put it on this DJI Osmo handheld gimbal, and the combination of slow motion and super gimbaled smooth footage is super duper hard to beat. Okay, before we get any further, I'll show you what's in the bag. Right here, this is my racing quad, which we'll come back to. And then this is my freestyle quad, which we'll also come back to. And good to note that I use the GoPro Hero Session 5, which is right there, obviously. Now, the bag I use all the time is the Think Tank Heli Pack. I can fit everything that I want in it. I have straps on it for putting quads on the front rather than in the inside, and I'll show you why in a second here. Because it's loaded with stuff. The battery that I fly most often is the Pulse 1550 Graphene. FPV Direct sends these out to me. I really appreciate their sponsorship, and these are the best batteries that I've ever used. So first off, we'll start with the batteries. The batteries are all down here. I keep as much weight as I can at the bottom of the bag. That's kind of a backpacking technique, actually. It helps it stay pretty well balanced. So batteries usually end up being the heaviest part. They sit in this lowest portion. Moving up, we've got goggles. These are my Fat Shark Dominator HD3s. I use the Furious FPV True D receiver, which has been by far the best for me. I will use a number of different receiving antennas, but generally when I'm running circular polarized, it's these TPS Triumphs. And on the battery strap end, this is the Pretty Fly FPV. Thank you very much to Gil, 32 bits of Gil, for sending that out to me. And then I also use the 18650 Fat Shark pack to keep so I can swap those out really easily and charge them on their own dedicated charger. Mine has been through a little bit of work, but it's still holding strong. Then next over here is where I keep my Clearview 5.8 racing receiver, and I have some FPV Direct stickers on there because they provided me all of the antennas that I bought that I needed for it to just be able to have the best signal possible. I think I need to do a whole video on this specifically, but I've also got the wiring in here as well as an XC60 extension for hooking batteries up to that as needed. Then in this pouch is generally just antennas. I also have an ISDT charger in here, which I will charge off of other things here and there, bigger batteries that I've got lying around, or to my field charging pack. Otherwise, there's also just antennas. We've got some directionals, other circular polarized that just live in that container. In this package, I guess I just have a plastic bag and drugs. I often get headaches at races because you're staying up late, working hard, thinking hard, getting stressed out, all that fun stuff. So I just keep some anti-headache stuff in my bag. Right here is my ground station battery, just a 5 amp 3-cell that I can hook up to both my goggles and my Clearview at the same time. If I need it, I can also charge off of that for a good amount, not a ton, but some. I'm just gonna put this. I generally keep my receiving antennas right there. Then down in this hole is where I keep my GoPro generally. So this is just like a beater old GoPro that's dead that I couldn't get a warranty on. And then when I don't have my GoPro on my quad, it sits in there. Then this is basically like tape and solder. And then I always carry just a tiny little from like Walmart, a power strip multi-extension so that you can plug multiple things in when you're on the road, and I'm on the road a lot. Next down, this is my radio. This is the Futaba T18SZ. It's a pretty freaking awesome radio, a little bit on the expensive side, but it does an awesome job for me. I wanted the highest quality hardware that I could get, and when Futaba reached out to me to be a sponsor, I jumped on board for the hardware. Now the range is not probably as good as FrSky, because it follows certain FCC restrictions that FrSky does not, but you know what, in a racing situation that's never mattered. I would totally switch to this 100% if I could run my Crossfire off of it in CSRF mode, but you cannot run it in CSRF mode, so it's I don't really have the ability to run the Crossfire as a result. But T18SZ, the best in terms of hardware. It's got a big like 3-inch touchscreen LCD for all the menus and stuff, and yeah, so pretty awesome radio. If you ever see me and want to give it a feel, let me know, because you will experience the glory that is the T18SZ. Now, in here, I keep props generally, just a little bag that I keep in the side. I've got my DJI Mavic, which is which fits great in the bag, as well as the remote for it. That connects to my phone, which becomes the full remote. In this little baggie, I've got spare parts, ranging from screws to motors to cameras to whatever I might need, lives in there. On the inside pocket here, I've got USB cables. These are my receiving antennas, so they'll go on my Clearview or on my goggles. As well as this is just a 2-cell battery that I keep around for running the fan on the goggles, because the fan doesn't run, and then an extra radio strap. So all that fits in here nice and snug, not going anywhere, and is all pretty well protected. I got this drill at Walmart, and then found the bit that I can chuck into it for prop nuts online. I'll have to find a link to that, and this just makes changing props so much faster. It's probably saved me hours in terms of prop changing. Down in here we've got these are pliers and cutting tools. These are motor grips to use with the drill, because the drill will make your hand sad if it catches a prop. I always carry a sorry. Hey. Hey. Shh. I always carry a headlamp. Kira, stop it. I always carry a headlamp because you end up finding yourself, you end up finding yourself out at night fairly often, and having this available to just strap to your head is really, really nice. Just belong there. Then I got a couple bigger batteries. This one is currently hooked up to my soldering iron, which is the TS100 or the Saiyan Smart on Amazon. This is an amazing tool. It's just as good as my desktop soldering station, if not better, for $50, and you can run it off of 2 to 6 cell, and it does an amazing job. Solder sucker, multi-tool for different hex sizes, M2, M3, Phillips, a nut driver, and there's an M1.5 somewhere in there. But yeah, so that's everything that is in my flight bag. Pretty much all of this goes with me everywhere. I'll take gear in or out depending on what I'm going to be doing. Like if I'm going to be really, really hiking or something like that, I'll definitely thin it out. If I'm going to be traveling, I might add some different things, more spare parts, for example. But for the most part, this stuff just lives in my bag, and I work out of my bag, and I keep everything near me when I'm flying. Oh, and this is my usual radio strap, is the Pretty Fly FPV. I thought it was a pretty baller looking plaid that I rock. So that goes with my radio. Then the only last thing is, I think some people might be interested in this, but for my camera gear, I've got this bag that I purchased on Amazon. I should get something better. I've got a smaller camera here, which is the Sony RX100 Mark II. It's an awesome little point and shoot camera. It does it makes very, very good video and pictures for its size. In this side, this is a Canon 50 millimeter prime lens, fixed prime. And I've got a Sony adapter so that it works with the Sony camera, and this has a maximum aperture of 1.4, which makes for those really, really pretty bokeh-y pictures that we all like to look at. And then I also have this 55 to 210 millimeter lens for Sony that allows me to do really cool zoomed in shots, both in terms of video and photos. So like if I'm shooting a quad in slow motion and I'm trying to track it across a field or something like that, that's what I'll definitely use this instead of the lens that's on there now. Then, various adapters. I've got a couple macro adapters. Close this up here. In here I've got this is the SD card holder. This is a awesome little device for holding on to all of my different SD cards. I've got a circular polarizer for when the sun is bright, extra batteries, pen, USB stick, and RunCam 3, which I just have sitting around still because it's now kind of like, illegal here in the States. But I use this when I need to do something potentially unrecoverable. I'll use the RunCam 3 instead of my GoPro, which has that nice warranty, which if I lose my quad completely, I can't get back. So, and then this is a little mount that I put. You can basically just hook it on your pants and then clip the camera onto it, and you got this little trigger here, and it acts as a quick release, so I can keep the camera with me but not in hand, so that if I want to do quick release, I can just pop it off, take a shot, then put it back, and get video really easily that way. Awesome little thing, again found on Amazon. So let's go up to the bench and we will show you what's going on with the rigs. So let's talk rigs. This is my race rig. It is the HiFi Multi-Rotors 6-inch Le HiFi. It's a True-X quad, super simple, pretty light, and it's just kind of it's an all-around workhorse, and that's why I run it, and that's why I like it. I usually use the Atmospheric Adventures Kratos, but we've been having some supply issues, and we're working on getting version 2 done and out the door, and so I just have switched over to this temporarily to make sure that everything is still running for me during racing season. Now, for motors, I'm running the T-Motor F60 V1s with the 2450 kV version. I keep coming back to these as my favorite motor because they're just durable and reliable, and they get the job done. And so they just kind of continue to be my favorite. The ESC under here is the T-Motor F30 amp 2 to 6 cell version, the same as the spec class. My camera is always a Runcam Swift 2, which is by far my favorite camera, with the built-in OSD and all that. This is, on the board here, is the Omnibus F3 from Ready to Fly Quads, and it is connected via smart audio to a TBS Unify 5 volt, which is powered by this dedicated BEC here in the back, and I have on here a TBS Triumph antenna. The receiver I use is a Futaba receiver. It's called the 3001 SB, just a small little S-Bus receiver, about the same size as an XSR. So that is my racing rig for now. I really like it. I took second place at 3B regional finals with this, and I have no complaints, and I love it the way it is. Now for freestyle, I've got this. This is the Atmospheric Adventures Kratos Freestyle. It is a 5-inch freestyle frame top mount with a built-in GoPro mounting and a whole bunch of other awesome stuff. On it are T-Motor F30 or F40 V3s, the same as the spec class. These are T-Motor F30 amp ESCs, again the same thing. They're really dirty right now. There was some hot glue and then it got stuck into a tree, and I tried to kind of throttle out and it got really grimy. Then for camera, I'm actually running the Runcam Eagle 2. On my freestyle quad, I really like this super sharp, super high dynamic range camera. It's been doing an awesome job for me for freestyle. It's not quite what I want for racing, but I love it for this. Obviously I've got a Pulse 1550 graphene strapped to the top. And then inside of this I have, again, the Omnibus F3 connected to a Unify, which is down over here, with smart audio, the same Futaba 3001 SB receiver. This is a Foxeer antenna that has been through a lot. And then the GoPro Session 5 up top. So for power distribution boards on all of my quads, I use the Ready to Fly Quads 5 volt, 12 volt RTF 3.0 power distribution board. It's a super cheap, super simple power distribution board that really it's simple and it works, and it's never gone bad on me. I've never popped off a pad or anything like that, so it's just perfect. So these are the two primary rigs that I use. This one for freestyle, and the Lehifi for racing. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be flying one of these two rigs. Well, if you've made it to this point, I really appreciate your dedication. I've been rambling a lot for the last, probably 20 minutes now. I really appreciate you sticking around. And once again, if you are interested in buying any of this, check the Amazon descriptions below. See if there's a link there that can help you support this channel and allow the both of us to stay flying.